Over the course of Beyblade Burst and its 7 seasons that we got from it, there's been a handful of times where Bladers almost bit the dust. And out of all these times, some of them have been rather dumb, and others have been really interesting of that they really should not be alive. AKA Drum. He probably should have bit the dust a long time ago in season 4. But today we're going to be going over the top 5 times Bladers almost bit the dust and should have bit the dust. I'm your host, Team Miss Beyblade, and you should subscribe for future videos just like this. Now let's get started with number 5. During the second season of Evolution, while Vault and the crew were looking for Shu, and they were at the Snake Pit Arena, Temple, whatever you want to call it, they faced up against a few amount of traps. One of these traps ended up being a pushing wall. Thank goodness for them running at full speed, they ended up cracking through an ice wall which led them to escaping, otherwise they would have been crushed to death by this one wall. So thank goodness that the ice was thin enough that they could all break through it.
The wall! That's closing in! What's with all these traps? Beats me! Just break the ice!
Number 4 also takes place during the second season of Beyblade Burst Evolution, but this one's more of a kind of hilarious one that could have happened if both Free and Vault were being so stubborn. So while Free was training for the championship, Vault also wanted to help and train with Free. Now Free being a strong blader, muscularized compared to Vault, the man was lifting a huge freaking boulder while Vault was like, oh, let me help here. Well, this obviously threw off the balance for Free. The man skedaddled out underneath the boulder, almost leaving Vault to be crushed himself.
Turn. I'm kind of busy. Fine then. Let me help.
Moving on to Season 3 of Turbo. During the start of Season 3, Vault was looking for a way to evolve his Valkyrie and turn Valkyrie into a Turbo Beyblade by finding Iger's dad. However, he got lost in the woods and looked for Valkyrie's help. Unfortunately, Valkyrie went supersonic and flew off a tree stump flying downhill. Of course, Vault being Vault, followed after him at full Mach speed. And while the man flew off a cliff trying to get it, thank goodness he had a backpack to save his fall, but that didn't save him for long. And luckily for him, Iger was there to go ahead and swoop him and save him. Otherwise, he probably would have fell to his death, because those trees were actually high up if you look at the distance that he falls. Continuing number 2 in Season 3 with one of the most horrifying ways to die. While Iger and Ranjiro was challenging the Dread Tower, they had to go ahead and face the Infinity Duo Bays, Artemis and Eclipse. The only way they could get out of the room was by bursting them. Now there was a bit of a twist if they didn't end up bursting these bays, as if they didn't, the ceiling would have crushed them to death, and almost nearly so. The only reason why they didn't get crushed is in the last battle, Iger decides to go Super Resident Evil mode to burst both the bays, and my goodness, they almost got crushed.
How'd those bays start spinning on their own? What's going on there? The ceiling's coming down on us! What? Rip! Now, Achilles! Turbo whip! Right? You got that real close!
And finally, for number 1, we finally go to Season 4, and we end up on the GT Island, where, in fact, there's a volcano, and on top of that volcano is a Beyblade Stadium. Dante makes his way all the way on up there just for him not to be able to battle for anybody. In his pure rage, the volcano goes off, and which honestly, I really don't know how this man survived. He should have died, let's be honest, because that explosion was huge.
Bringing up the rear atop Stage 8's volcanic peak. Oh wow! It looks like Dante Coryu made the climb! But unfortunately, he's all alone!
Are you kidding me?